Hopefully it's not too windy where I am here. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Flat Earth School morning here in Australia, or from wherever you're watching. Hopefully you might see a sunrise today. I haven't seen a sunrise from my very first show 2 weeks ago. It's been cloudy. There's a bit of cloud out of the horizon. Might part by the time the sun comes up in about half an hour. Today we're going to be talking all about the horizon. James Mason, hey mate, good to see you. Is there much wind coming through on my audio? Thank you everybody for joining me. Robert Page, thanks for being here. Dusty Rider, hey mate. Yeah, it's a bit windy today. How's my audio? Not much wind? Bruce McCardle, how are you mate? Rick Brown says, is the sun coming up from its hiding spot? Where's its hiding spot, Rick? Is the horizon its hiding spot? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. All about the horizon. I'll be telling you, Rick. Don't you worry. I will be telling you about the horizon. Detailing how it's certainly not a physical Earth curvature to block things. So if you think it's hiding things from a physical standpoint, you're sadly mistaken. Brian R, good evening. Awesome Austin, Flat Gang, how are ya? Hopefully you guys can hear the beautiful nature in the background, black cockatoos. Warren P says hello from Germany. Hey Warren. Great to have everyone here on this Flat Earth School start of the week. The eye says it's flat. Absolutely, it is flat. It has been proven. If you don't believe me, go and see the #1 flat Earth proof on my channel. That is the title of the video. And if you have any rebuttals to the #1 flat Earth proof, which absolutely proves physical measurement of our world has been shown to be flat. And it's not a recent thing. It's something that has been around for at least centuries, maybe millennia. Oh, a lyrebird over there. Don't think you guys can see it yet. It's a bit dark. Can you guys hear those birds in the background? Barra bada da 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 says good evening from Liverpool, ready to learn something. Jerry Snake says, on my recent episode about the moon, I said I was going to explain the phases of the moon, but I never did. Can I explain this sometime? No. The only explanation that we can give about the moon is simply a description. The only thing that we know about the moon is that it absolutely goes in cycles. It is predictable. It repeats itself. We know when the next cycle is going to be. We know when and where the moon will come up. That's why I can go out to places like this and I'll know exactly where the moon's going to come up. So I zoom right in of where the apparent horizon is. not the physical horizon. I know exactly where it's going to be because it is predictable. It is a cycle. But for what causes the phases of the moon, nobody knows. And if somebody thinks they do know, please come forward with the information because I'm yet to hear anything that's plausible. Mr. Russell said he brought a spirit level yesterday. It was 1 mile long. Only problem is it has an 8-inch bow on it. Nice, Razzle. Hey, look what I brought today. I brought along with me my level. Angel of Truth says he's tried to reach out to me so many times about the PCR test causing you paralysis. I'm really sorry to hear that, Angel for Truth. Wow. Okay, your comments keep getting blocked. Angel for Truth, please email me at mitchellfromaustralia@gmail.com. You can also add me on Skype by the same name, Mitchell from Australia. And please tell me all about your experience. That is horrific. I'm so sorry to hear that you've been injured by the PCR test. That is horrible. That's why I put a video out about the PCR test, just warning people about its dangers, so things like that don't happen like they've happened to you. That's really unfortunate. I'm really sorry to hear that. Okay, I'll try and look you up on Facebook. Let's see, what time is it? Is it time to start? All right, 26 in the live stream. Thank you for being here, everybody. Today we are talking about the horizon. And as the light gets a bit better here, we're going to do a little observation with this level, with this bubble level. It's going to be good fun. Angel says she needs a bit of help getting the word out about the tests. The PCR test, that is. Angel, please, yeah, try and get in contact with me. I'll try and look you up on Facebook and Instagram. We'll definitely get the word about your story. Really sorry to hear about that. Today I'm coming to you from a really nice lookout. Don't know if you can call it a mountain as such. I suppose you can. Can't see anything around me that's higher. Will from the UK says it's going to be horizontal. The horizon horizontal? Yeah. we can definitely assert that the horizon is horizontal. Hopefully you might even see a sunrise today. We've been missing out. Let's pan across a little bit. Not sure if we will see that sunrise. It is still a bit cloudy. We haven't seen one since the very first show, unfortunately. Anyway, I digress. So the last show, the last live stream, regular Flat Earth School show, where I was out on some rocks looking at the ocean. I was going through 86 or 87 things that a glober, a flat earth, an anti-flat earth troll, some would say Tim Osman gave us. 86 things that detailed why things disappeared bottom up. And I only got to 20 something, maybe 30, because there's just so much. So I'm going to try and get through some more today, because today is all about the horizon. And you might ask, what has the horizon got to do with bottom up disappearance of objects? Well, it is all about the horizon. If you assert that things are being disappeared from the bottom up, it is sometimes due to the horizon, and that's what we get told here by anti-flat earthers, that things out on the horizon are disappearing bottom up. So it's definitely about the horizon. If anti-flat earthers or globe believers are saying that boats disappear bottom up due to a physical earth curvature, that's definitely about the horizon. Now, obviously, boats can disappear bottom up from waves, from swell, from those physical sorts of things. But that's not at the horizon. We can see that well before the horizon. If there's a bit of a swell, if there's waves, definitely we can see things disappear bottom up, just because there's a physical blockage of water. That's definitely not a physical earth curve though. And that's what the globers would like to tell you, that horizon out there is physical earth curve. Paid NASA shill says, going to look at the sky tonight. Oh, yeah, going to look at the sky. Cool. What are you planning to look at specifically, paid NASA shill? Explain how the stars, I'm assuming stars, in the outer disk work. Well, I've never asserted that there's a disk above our head as such, but I've definitely asserted that we have a flat celestial plane above our body, above our Earth. Well, we're above our body. If it's above you, it's above your body, isn't it? And up and down is definitely a relative direction. I don't think any animals would assert there's an up and or a down. It's all to do with just pressure. If fish are swimming in the ocean and they want to go towards the surface, they don't think, oh, I have to swim up. No, it's all about pressure to them. They know where they are, how deep they are due to pressure. It's not up or down. Just like birds. Birds don't go up and down due to thinking they need to go up or down. It's all due to pressure around them. Anyway, I digress. Doc C says, that would make your sextants not work. You know that, right? No, paid NASA shill. There is no up or down. What happens when you stand on your head? Which way's up and down? Are you going to assert down is towards your feet? Because my feet could be above my head. They could be laying down sideways. No? What is up and down, NASA shill? Tell me why NASA shill is on fire today. Tell me why we can't see Polaris. Tell me why it rotates the other direction. Polaris rotates the other direction? Polaris is literally the only thing in our sky, if you're in the north, that does not rotate. That is a non sequitur. Pay NASA shill. But we simply cannot see Polaris because the same reason why we can't see the sun and the moon all the time. If you're talking about here in the south, it's the same reason. We're just too far away. Now, an interesting thing about Polaris, before I get back onto the horizon, I need to get through this list. But an interesting thing about Polaris, which is becoming a lot more prominent here in the flat Earth, that for every 1 degree, so Polaris is asserted to be 90 degrees above your head when you're right underneath it. It's asserted on the globe to be the top of their globe, roundabout, yeah, give or take a few miles, whatever, doesn't really matter. But it's asserted that Polaris can tell us our latitude, that arbitrary point on a globe, I suppose you could say. All right, let's play along for a bit. So for every 69 miles that we travel away from Polaris's GP, which is 90 degrees above your head, if you can ever get to that point where it is 90 degrees above your head, the geographical position, When you travel 69 miles away from Polaris, doesn't matter what direction, you will see an angular change to Polaris from your observer point by 1 degree for every 69 miles you travel. Did you know that, NASA Shield? If you didn't know that, you do now. You definitely know that as you move away from Polaris, every 69 miles you move away will be a 1 degree angular change. Yeah? We agree? Just nod along. I don't need your confirmation, because that's just what happens. Now, globers assert that's because we are on a curved surface. Yeah? Now, if we were on a curved surface, we would not have this linear relationship that we're seeing. Do you realize that for every 69 miles is 1 degree? That can continue out for what? To 90 degrees? To the equator? 0 degrees, sorry. From 90 to 0. Maybe a little bit more. Some would say they can see Polaris below the horizon, but I digress. That is a linear relationship. For every 69 miles you move away from the GP point of Polaris is 1 degree. Linear relationship, that's a slope. Yeah, that details perspective brilliantly, perfectly, to the T. If you were traversing on a curved surface away from the GP of Polaris, this would be a squared function, because the ground isn't flat on your globe, is it? In your imagination land. If you were looking at Polaris on a globe, for every 69 miles you move away, you'd need to account for curvature. It would be a squared function, not a linear function. Do you realize that? Yes, every 69 miles will be 1 degree change in Polaris. And it's not just Polaris. You do this to any star, any known GP from any star. You move away 69 miles in any direction from that GP of that star, it will be a 1 degree angular change that you're measuring with something like a sextant. Every single star, not just Polaris. The globers love to use Polaris because they think that proves latitude and that proves a globe. But for every 69 miles that you move away is a 1 degree angular change. That is a linear relationship. That is describing a slope. That is describing perfectly to the T what perspective is. It is linear. Yeah? Can I not get super chats? I thought I could. That sucks if it's not active at the moment. Can somebody try and confirm that? All right, now that we know that the stars absolutely debunk the globe, because if we were on a curved surface looking at the stars, we would not see a linear relationship to the angular change as we move away from the stars. It would be a squared function, because it is 8 inches per mile squared that we're traversing on a globe. Yeah? And the only reason why we are seeing that angular change as we move away from the GPs to your relative position on your globe would be because you're traversing a curve. Nathan, thank you. Nathan Oakley sends me 0.79 pounds. Thank you, Nathan. Would have preferred 69, but I'll take the extra 0.1 of a pound. Thank you, Nathan. And my super chats definitely are working. Thank you. Awesome, everyone being here. All right, so we've talked about Polaris. That was off on a tangent because I did see a troll in the chat. Yeah, it does work fine. Thank you for sending me money and letting me know, Nathan. That's awesome. All right, we're talking about the horizon today. I've brought it along my bubble level. I would have preferred to be over there on that lookout bit, but it is so windy over there. I've had to come and hide over here. So I'm not sure if this will work as I wanted it to work, because I was going to set up my level. I was going to show in a live demonstration that there is absolutely a dip, an apparent dip to the horizon. So if you set your bubble level up However you want to set it up. I'll try and do it. We'll try and get this going. It's still a bit too murky out there on the camera. I'll do it once the sun comes up a bit. But there's definitely a dip angle, and that's what Alberuni, that guy that apparently measured the radius of the Earth. I'm going to just go through what he did when the sun comes up a bit more, when it gets a bit brighter. Hopefully you're not going to miss the sunrise here. So the horizon does not rise to eye level. Well, what is eye level? Yeah, sure it does. Where's eye level? We can be looking up and down. Eye level can be freaking anywhere. It just doesn't line up with bubble level. Yeah? Eye level and bubble level are totally different things. I'm going to explain that a bit. When the sun comes up, when we've got a bit more light, when we can see a nicer clear horizon, because there's a bit of cloud out there. I want to distinguish between the horizon and the cloud, because we only have one horizon. Yeah, there is dip from the bubble level. This is a bubble level to the horizon. Now, if you think you're on a globe, like Alberuni thought he was on a globe, he would see that dip from the bubble level to the horizon, and he asserted, being up on a mountain, that the Earth must be curving away from him. So he measured the angle from the bubble level, the dip angle, to the horizon. We only have one horizon. And he asserted that that horizon that he saw, that he was measuring from the bubble level to, was physical Earth curvature. That is the only horizon the only explanation for the horizon on the globe. Physical Earth curvature. That horizon out there, the only horizon that we see, that we can measure to. Alberuni measured a dip angle, and he asserted that he was on a globe measuring dip angle from the bubble level, not eye level, bubble level, to the horizon, and he came out with a value 1% off the accepted value of 3959 miles. Some people would say that's amazing. Others would say, what's the horizon? What's he measuring to? Because the black swan, it's been 20 months now. Almost 20, it's coming up to 21 months, I think it is, in a couple of days. 21 months the black swan has been around, the black swan argument. And if you haven't heard it, I'll just go over it quick. Oh, I think we're going to miss the sunrise. I've come up at a different spot to where I wanted to. No, that's all right. That's all right. This will do. Yeah, Nathan Oakley says, meanwhile, we no longer have a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon, as required by the geometric globe Earth model, and as required by what Alberuni needed. Alberuni needed that physical Earth curve horizon. Hang on. Might change the camera here. Yep. Let's go over here and see a bit of a sunrise. Beautiful. There it is. There's the sunrise. Matthew King says, hey Mitchell, keep the truth going. I sure will. Thank you to all my patrons too. You guys are awesome. Don't get too close to the edge, says Nathan. The physical edge of that cliff, yep. Definitely nothing like the edge of the horizon that's asserted. Definitely not a physical edge out there where the sun's just come up. Appeared to come up. And we've gone over sunrises and sunsets. Sunrise, thank you for proving the globe again. There's always one, isn't there? All right, we'll go over it just for paid NASA shill. So why does the sun move on your globe model, paid NASA shill? Is it because the Earth is moving? Yeah. What happens when I put my drone up, push the up stick, it just hovers there, and my drone still sees the sun coming up? Yeah? Or for sunsets, my drone sees the sun going down. and then it sets, and then I can go up again. Done this on my channel. DRTRH has done this a few times. Double sunsets, triple sunsets. Why do we still see sunrises and sunsets from the drone when the drone is meant to be in the inertial reference frame with the sun? The sun and the drone, when the drone's flying, are both in the inertial reference frame. From the drone's view, the drone should never see the sun moving, should never see the stars moving, should never see the moon moving. But the fact that the drone will definitely see sunrises, sunsets, double sunsets. You can even do a double sunrise if you're really good, if you start your drone up really high and then go down. But that just proves the Earth is definitely not rotating and debunks the notion that the globe tells us of sunrises. Sunrises do not happen because of Earth turn. No, the Earth is definitely not turning. But I digress. There's always one. There's always one that's why I like to do these sunrises, because there's always one that says, there's a sunrise proving the globe Earth, yeah? And as many in the chat are now saying, you're gonna need R for that physical Earth curve horizon. You're gonna need R, the R value, the rate value for Earth turning at a certain rate, an angular rate. Some would say that when my drone goes up, just hovers there in the inertial reference frame that you're meant to be having, we don't see drift. You and your reference frames have been ruined, says Simon Dan, anti-flat earther. And for those of you who don't know what an anti-flat earther is, it is just someone that goes purely against the flat earth arguments. They do not care if they chuck their globe under the bus in the process, like Simon Dan does when he says, you and your reference frames have been ruined, showing us that there is no two reference frames as required on his globe model. That's just what an anti-flat earther is. But some would assert when my drone goes up and sees that sunrise or sunset, that its angular momentum is being maintained. Now, apart from violating the natural laws of gas, air definitely doesn't move with anything. It expands freely and rapidly in all directions. But when my drone sits there and you say that it's conserving angular momentum, do you know what angular momentum is measured in? Yeah, radians. What does radians need? A radius, which has been debunked by the Black Swan, 3959 miles, is now debunked by the Black Swan. There is no radius value of this presupposed spherical Earth. Well, I suppose you can assert that we're just on a bigger sphere, as Mr. Sensible would say. Possibly it's 3960 or 3961 miles now after the Black Swan. after also detailing that at best all we've done is disprove the radius of the Earth. So now he's looking for a new radius, Mr. Sensible. And if we go through the maths from a 1 foot observer height to a 10-mile horizon, do you know what that puts the new radius of the Earth? If you still think you're living on a spherical Earth, do you know what that puts the radius? 1 foot observer height, 10-mile horizon, 264,000 miles. I've gone over this many shows. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it by now. Here we go. Doc C says, the Black Swan only works if we don't have atmosphere. But take a deep breath. We have atmosphere. Thank you, Doc C. Atmosphere. Spherical shaped air. Unwittingly invokia catena. Thanks for showing that we need containment for air, Doc C. I love these globe trolls because they just step in dog shit every time they open their mouths. It is so entertaining. It is so easy to take apart their arguments. And I love doing it. Being from Australia, please show us the container. Are you breathing, NASA? Paid NASA shield? Yeah, that means you're contained. You're in a container. It follows all natural gas laws. If you are saying that we can have gas without a container, you are violating all those natural gas laws, and they would not be natural laws because they would be proven not to happen. A natural law is something that happens and never not happens. It is something we observe always. It is to have gas, the necessary antecedent is a container in the first instance. They go exclusively in this order. Containment, number one. Gas, number two. And then let's go to gas pressure gradient. Yeah, as you go higher, you can have less gas pressure. Do you want to go there? Gas pressure gradient? Yeah, that's a delta of gas pressure. First you need a container, then you need, and then gas will follow, and then you have a gas pressure gradient. Anyway, we're meant to be talking about the horizon, the damn horizon here. Now, I wonder if this is enough light to set up my bubble level. I might have to do this at a different location. I don't think we're going to get a real good reading on the bubble. I'll try and set it up. I'll try and see if we can. I'll get in my belly. Can I say anything that's not a Nathan Oakley quote? Is Nathan here with me? Nathan, do you want to join in? No, Nathan's definitely not here with me. He's definitely not out up on these mountains that I had to climb. No, it's my argument. Anything that I say is my argument. You deal with me. How are we getting a gradient in a container without a downward force? Do you want to detail what the downward force is? You want to get off on a real tangent? All right, let's set up. Yeah, Doc C, if you want to talk about Nathan, why don't you go and talk to him? He's got a daily flat earth debate show on his channel, Nathan Oakley. Daily, I think it's 2 p.m. UK time. Every single day. James Mason says, remember when the horizon was the edge? Yeah, that ships go over. How funny is it when us flat earthers get told that boats will go to drop off the edge of the earth? Yeah, that's just projection, because globe believers and any flat earthers actually need an edge for boats to drop over, to drop off, to disappear. And it's definitely not physical anymore. Free Mind says, I wish we could like comments in real time. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? You know what? I'm going to shout out my patrons before we do this little demonstration. You guys are awesome. Thank you for my support. Wouldn't be doing this with, well, I probably would be doing this without you guys. I just wouldn't be enjoying it as much. So we've got Alec One Show, Michael Kahn, thank you Michael, in every single one of these live streams, thank you Michael. Malcolm Foster, Angie S, Dawn Judds, Paul on the Plane, Chris, Tristan Trickers, Will Brax, Ronald Jurek, BMLSB69, John Swartz, and Brian Leakey. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And if you do want to support me on Patreon, please, the link is in the description to all my live shows. It's in the bottom of this description to this live show here. Go to Patreon/Mitchell from Australia, and you will get access to all the live Friday shows with all my special guests on Fridays. You will get live access to that. I do replay them after the fact, so don't worry, I'm not suppressing anything. Everyone will see it. Jen8208 sends me $5 just here for the accent. Thanks, Jen. G'day, Jen. No, I'm not going to put it on. Don't really have that much of an accent. Well, I don't have a bogan accent anyway. Beautiful sunrise coming over there. I'll just pan away from it because it's not very good for our demonstration here. All right, I'm going to try and... Love the Indian accent. Thanks, Nathan. I don't know what you're talking about. Which way is my camera facing? Well, what, the cardinal points direction? It's facing out to the horizon at the moment. Don't think it... I'm going to have to do a show about magnetic declination. Because if you put a compass up, yeah, that's going to be a direction relative to the magnetic north. So the only real direction that we have is magnetic north. That's the only one we can... that is not relative. Up and down is definitely relative. Magnetic declination definitely becomes relative when you hold a compass up and you see that there is a magnetic north and you face whatever direction you want. Here in Australia, I think we have to, we get told we have to include a declination of plus or minus 10 degrees, I think it is, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's just if you think you're living on a globe, the magnetic declination. You get down to Antarctica, for those lucky enough to go there. Some places you need 180 degrees magnetic declination. And some say the compasses don't even work down Antarctica. I haven't been, so I don't know. Johnny Cool says, is that the geometric horizon over there that we're seeing? That line there in the ocean where the water appears to meet the sky? Definitely not. Definitely not a geometric horizon, physical earth curve that we need. I was meant to be going through this list from Tim Osman, but this is too fun just addressing the trolls in the chat. These are just everyday questions that we all get. Us here on Flat Earth, detailing Flat Earth concepts. Just, this is our Flat Earth school. Our reality around us, 24/7 since the beginning of existence. This is Flat Earth school. I'm not a teacher, I'm just a student like the rest of you guys. I have no idea about some things. I wouldn't have a clue what the moon is, the sun is, the stars are. All I know about those celestial objects, they're all clocks. It's all something for us just to go off a calendar by. Screw the Gregorian calendar. We've got a sky calendar that it is repeatable. It is a cycle. We can rely on it. It's not going to break. We don't need to put batteries in it. We don't need to set it back an hour or forward an hour for daylight savings time. No, we don't need all that. The sun tells us the days, the moon tells us the months, and the stars tell us the years. That's the only calendar we need. Okay, back to the horizon. Keeps getting away from me. I'm going to try and set up this bubble level in a spot that we can still see the horizon and there's not some trees blocking it. All right. Gonna have to take this off the tripod for a second and to do this little observation here. I'm gonna move over here, set up my bubble level. All right. Set up the bubble level and then try and get down on my belly and line up the bubble level to the horizon, the only horizon that we see. It is the visible horizon. All right, here we go. All right, I've got my bubble level. Try and hold it as still as I can so the picture comes through pretty clear. Got my bubble level. Don't think anyone can say that. All right, we're back live. Don't know what happened there. Like when I bend down. All right, so we'll go back over here. Okay, we got the bubble level. Okay, keep the bubble level there and we'll go down. This is what Al Baruni did whenever the hell he did it. If he was a real person that really did it. And he saw... if he lined up his little... it's a bit hard because it's not going to be that good, but okay. If it keeps cutting out every time I go down. Reception's probably not the best here. So I've got my bubble level. Go back to level. Do this demonstration again. Bubble level. Yep, definitely bubble level. Different to eye level. And I'll show you it's different to the horizon level. All right. Here we go. See? Definitely a dip to the horizon. Don't think anyone's gonna, well, nobody should be too upset that we're seeing a dip angle to the horizon. Mitchell, it's sunrise 6:36. Yep, that's round about when sunrise happened. Yep. So we're up about 400 meters maybe above sea level, above that flat level plane. If that level was down at sea level, that bubble level here in front of me, if that was at sea level, it would be also, if we put it on flat ground and we get a level, it will be parallel with this level. If we had another bubble level, it's a bit windy, but you guys get the point. I might set it up again later, but this is what Alberuni did. I was just explaining, sorry, that level there is the same parallel level as if you were down at sea level. They're parallel. Okay, the only way you can get angles to something is if we have parallel lines. Is if we have flat surface beneath our feet, we've got another parallel plane above us or below us. In this case, it's going to be below us, isn't it? In the stars, when we're looking at stars, it's going to be a parallel flat plane above us. But Alberuni did this. Alberuni came up a mountain in Pakistan. So goes the story. I'll just put this back on the tripod, just for a better viewing experience. Alberuni went up a mountain, took his little measuring device, saw that the horizon, the only horizon that we have, saw that horizon out there, we only have one horizon, appeared to be below a bubble level. How many meters above sea level? About 300 or 400. Don't know exactly. But the higher you go, the more of a dip angle you're definitely going to get. And that's definitely not because we're on a curved Earth. It's all just due to angular resolution and diffraction limit. You are never going to keep seeing further and further and further. There is going to be a diffraction limit point. And that's why when it gets to that point for our eyes, it'll be a different point for cameras, be a different point for telescopes. Once it gets to that point, yeah, you're going to go up, and that point is going to appear to be at the same level because there is no longer a resolution for what we are seeing. It's going to get to a point where the diffraction limit is just there. You can't see past it. There's going to get to a point where there's too much air. There's too much pollution in the air. The air is made up of so many different things. It's not just air, but when we go up, that diffraction limit is set to whatever you're viewing the horizon at. It is all apparent. It is definitely not physical, and that's why we have a dip, an apparent dip from bubble level. Bubble level is parallel to sea level, yeah? So when we go up, obviously there is going to be a dip to the horizon, and I just showed that. I set up my bubble level, looked out the horizon, and there was definitely a dip to the horizon. But we don't have to assert that the shape of the Earth when looking at this, no. All we have to know is to get angles to anything, we need 3 straight lines, triangle. The eye says he didn't see any dip. I'm sorry if it wasn't coming through very well. I've actually done a pre-record up a different mountain about 500 meters above sea level, and that's with a GoPro, like a 4K camera, and I did that same thing as I just did with the bubble level, and it showed that the horizon was definitely below the level of the bubble. So I'll put that out whenever I can't get up and do these live streams. I'll put that out, but Until then, you're just going to have to bear with me with this live stream on this camera. And so our Baruni did the same thing. He set up his little bubble level. He looked at the horizon, and then he inserted the presupposition that he's on a globe. And that's where it all fell apart. Well, actually, it really fell apart before he even went up the mountain. I'll show you. So our Baruni had to first measure how tall the mountain was. And he measured it really well. Just trying to get this image here of how he measured. All right, let's go through this. Screen share. Our Baruni and the size of the Earth. And this is our Baruni's mountain here. Up here, M, value M, is our Baruni's mountain up the top here. And first he had to know the H, the height of the mountain from this level here. See this straight line? See how it's not curved? Yeah? And it even details it. All right, so our Baruni's clever strategy was to measure the elevation angles between 2 points, which is between A and B. He stood here, measured an angle to M, and then he went back, measured an angle from B to M, and he did a bit of maths. So he moved further away to point B and measured the elevation angle. And since A and B were both on level ground, yeah, details are right there. Since A and B were on level ground, that line, that bottom straight line, level ground, the distance between them, D, could be measured with a good accuracy. And from this, he could deduce the height using simple trigonometry. This is how our Baruni did it. This is easy to find on the websites. This is how our Baruni knew the height, H, of the mountain using trigonometry. And it details it right here. That level here, it says right here, A and B were both on level ground. It says it right there. A and B were both on level ground. So before he even got up the mountain, our Baruni had to assume that he was on a flat level plane to get the height of the mountain. The mountain that we're standing on. I could go down there and I could measure some angles from a location down there near the water, from anywhere really, and move back on the same level surface, have another angle, and because we know the distance between those 2 points, looking at this point here, we can deduce the height of things. That's just how trigonometry works. Yeah? Now that we all understand that, that our Baruni had to have knowledge of this flat level plane in the first instance to get the height of that mountain. He then went up the mountain, and instead of continuing that line of thought, that the ground down there was absolutely flat, which was required to measure angles, to measure the height of the mountain. He now went up the mountain and he inserted a religious belief that the earth must be curved from his point to the horizon. And that's why we're talking about the horizon here today. The horizon is not geometric earth curve. When our Baruni set up his little bubble level, he asserted that from his bubble level down to the horizon, when he was up the mountain, that dip angle was due to curvature. That horizon that he was looking at was geometric. As I just demonstrated, he had to do the maths on a flat level plane in the first instance to get the height of the mountain. Yeah? And then he went up the mountain, and in order to measure an angle from up here, where we are, standing up here on top of a lookout, a mountain, and measuring an angle to something like the horizon, you have to assume, you have to treat it, you have to measure it as if we're looking down there at a flat level plane, and if we put our bubble level up, it is also a flat level plane. It is as simple as that. He had to have 2 flat level planes in order to measure an angle, a dip angle to the horizon. Getting a bit windy up here. Lucky the live stream's not over. And the black swan absolutely blew the notion that that horizon out there was geometric Earth curve. Nope, definitely not geometric Earth curve. Impossible. The black swan showed from a 1 foot observer height a horizon of more than 10 miles, and that is being nice to the globe. If anyone doesn't know what the black swan is, the black swan argument, let me just run it through. All right, so it is. I'll get up on screen actually. What? Who better to detail this than an actual video? It's not on this iPad. No, not on this iPad. So I'm just going to have to go through it verbally then. All right, so the black swan argument is a modus tollens argument. A logical consistency. If P, then Q. Not Q, therefore not P. If P, the Earth was a sphere of radius 3959 miles, then Q, every single distance to horizon, every single distance to Earth curve on that globe can be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. All right. So that's just 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Enter the black swan. I think I've at least got a picture of it here. Enter the black swan. No, I don't even have a picture of it. Bloody hell. Oh, yes, I do. Here we go. The number 1 globe killer, black swan. Yeah. So this is the black swan image from the video. Platform hill house here, 6.2 miles. Platform habitat, 9.4 miles. Horizon above the bottom of that oil platform. In the distance, for argument's sake, we'll just say it's 10 miles. It's definitely could be a lot more. That's just being nice to the globe. Yeah? This is the black swan argument. So modus tollens ends in not Q. Every distance to the horizon is definitely not 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as we just saw with the black swan. 1 foot observer, 10 mile distance to the horizon. Do you know how far away a 1 foot observer should see the geometric horizon, the physical Earth curve? 1.22 miles, yeah? Even if you assert the black swan image and video was taken from observer height of 5 feet, the horizon should only be 2.77 miles. Yeah? But we can see a horizon in excess of 10 miles. We'll just say it's 10 miles. So modus tollens concludes that not Q, every distance to a horizon is not 1.22 times the square root of observer's height in feet, which is required, which is geometry, which is the maths that proves things, right, Globers, right, any flat earthers? Maths proves things. No? So not P. The Earth is not a sphere of radius 3959 miles. Yeah? That's the logical consistency. That absolutely blows the radius of Earth out of the water. We now if you are a globe believer, if you are an anti-flat earther, you no longer have a radius of 3959 miles for your spherical Earth. That is just a fact. It has been proven. It has been demonstrated. The Adam Meakin says 10 miles. Yeah, well, from a 1 foot observer height, a 10 mile distance to horizon gives us a value of 250,000 miles. I think that's been a little nice to the globe, Adam. I think it's about 264,000 miles, as detailed by you before. I think it was your calculations, Adam, that I keep showing. I've got a picture of it here. The calculations, you run back through it from a 1 foot observer height, 10 mile distance to horizon. I thought it was about 264,000 miles. What's 14,000 miles of a radius value between friends? Yeah, so it's gone from 33,959 miles, which is the current narrative of the globe. That should be the radius. It's gone from that 3959 miles to 264,000 miles. Anyone know the distance that they say is from here to the moon? About 230,000 miles. So what does that do for everything that we assert we need the radius value for? Other than destroying that horizon being geometric Earth curve, that's the first thing that we were attacking. Audio? I'm definitely getting audio. Brian Leakey, thank you for joining us here. One of my patrons. Thank you, Brian Leakey. Awesome. So what are some of the other things that the Black Swan absolutely demolishes, other than the horizon being physical Earth curve? Well, every distance of every celestial body that they say they've measured, you need the radius for that. The rotation of the Earth, you're going to need the radius for a rotational value, an angular value that we see. So we look above our heads, we look at the stars rotating. Yeah, we're told that that's because that we're rotating. Yeah, you're going to need an R value to have a spherical Earth rotating. Definitely need an R value. When we get told that when my drone lifts off the ground and it just hovers there, we don't see drift in it. Sometimes we get told by anti-flat earthers who love to chuck their globe model under the bus. Unwittingly, they say that drone is conserving angular momentum. Like I said before, what's angular momentum measured in? Radians? Yeah, you're going to need a radius value for radians. They need an R value, a radius value, for every presupposition that starts with they're on a globe Earth. Because that's what every single globe argument, globe proof, in inverted commas, starts with. The presupposition that they are standing on a globe in the first place. They don't go out and prove it. They never measure it. Like I've shown, we can measure our entire world as flat in the #1 flat Earth proof. Check my channel, the #1 flat Earth proof video. Our entire world has been measured. That's past tense, already measured flat for hundreds of years, possibly thousands of years, who knows how long. Since celestial navigation has been around, the Earth has been measured as flat. That's just how the sextant works. It is just a fact of how celestial navigation works with the sextant. We have to treat it as flat. We have to measure it as flat in order to get angles. And back to my original point of being up here, getting my bubble level, seeing the dip angle to the horizon. Did that before, just over there. Some people said they couldn't really see it properly, but there was definitely a dip angle from the bubble level. Definitely different to sea level, definitely different to eye level. Bubble level up here obviously is going to be above sea level down there. When I put my bubble level down there, when I'm down at the sea and I line up my bubble level, we can assert that that bubble level down at the sea is going to be parallel to a bubble level up here on a mountain. So if you have two parallel lines, obviously there's going to be a dip angle from one parallel line down to the other parallel line. Yeah? And that's what Al-Biruni measured. The dip angle from up top of a mountain down to what he said was the geometric physical Earth curvature. to get a radius value. Now, if one, we don't have a geometric Earth curve horizon to measure off, how is our Bruni again that radius value? Impossible. Because we now get told, even by the globe side, the anti-flat earthers, that that horizon out there is definitely not physical Earth curve. Now, I was meant to be going through the 86 things that Tim Osman said the horizon was, because that's what it boils down to. I think originally he said why these 86 things were explanations, descriptions of why things disappear bottom up. But what it boils down to is they are 86 things that describes why we see a horizon. 86 things. Yeah, it's not just one thing as needed in the globe model. One thing is physical Earth curvature. That's what you need in your globe model. Physical Earth curvature to be the horizon. We only have one horizon. I hope you guys can see it really clear here. I'm up probably 300 or 400 meters up this beautiful lookout in nature here on Flat Earth School. Around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. This is our Flat Earth School. Keep reminding you guys, I'm not a teacher. I'm a student, just like the rest of us, going out, making these observations, just explaining how we are definitely not on a globe and proving that we are definitely on a flat, stationary, enclosed Earth. It has been measured. It gets navigated on daily as flat. That's just how our world has to work. We have to assume, we have to measure things, we have to navigate as if it was flat. That's all we see, that's all we experience. And I'm all about demonstrations. I'm all about what we experience here in reality. I don't want to throw around bullshit concepts that needs imagination land. No, that's not me. I go out into nature daily. You guys join me. Thank you. 50 people in the live stream right now. I've got over $11 in super chats. You guys are awesome. Patron's awesome. Viewers are awesome. Thank you for being here with me on Flat Earth School. We've been talking about the horizon. We only have one horizon. It is definitely not physical Earth curve edge. Al Bruni definitely did not measure from his little bubble level down to the horizon as if it were a curved surface that he's measuring over. No, you have to have two parallel lines to measure from one to another to get an angle between them. Like I said, I have my bubble level, go down to sea level, put my bubble level. If it's bubble level, come up here to the mountain, have another bubble level. Those two lines, those two bubble levels are parallel. They have to be parallel. Yeah? And we can measure an angle between those two parallel lines. That's what Al Bruni did. That's all he did. Measure an angle from those two parallel lines. One parallel line being this bubble level up at this height. The other parallel line being what he thought was the geometric horizon. Yeah, the horizon horizontal. And he said that was a dip angle to get the radius value of the Earth. It's been good fun. Maybe I might have to save those 86 things for another stream. But it is 7 AM here in Australia. We have had almost a good sunrise. It came up over the clouds. Hopefully I'll get another sunrise, but I'm going to have to leave it as that. I've got a very busy day ahead of us. It is beautiful. We're going to go on some walks. Yesterday we went on a beautiful walk down south, down around there somewhere, down Ulladulla. Saw some awesome animals, black cockatoos, red-tailed black cockatoos. Anyone look them up, they're amazing creatures. Echidnas. It is pretty much, I think it's the last day. Yeah, it is the last day of autumn here. Spring is about to spring upon us here in Australia. Wildflowers are starting to come out. I'll go on one of these walks one day and show you guys how beautiful our natural world is here in Australia. There are a lot of people here in Australia that can't, or unwilling to do these things that I'm doing at the moment, where a lot of us are in lockdown. I'm in lockdown, but I'm still out doing these things daily. It's a mind trick, just like the globe. It's a mind trick. It's all about what you're willing to believe. All right, guys. If you feel like the world turns on you, turn to Flat Earth School. It is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I've been Mitchell from Australia. Thank you for joining me at Flat Earth School. Until next time, smash the super chat, become a patron, support me in the live stream. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.